When you started making music, were you able to make music fast? And what was kind of like, what's your philosophy or what's your headspace to be able to make music fast? Because I don't know about you, but when I started, I'd spend like 3 days on a bass line and then like 2 days layering synths on a chord progression and then like a month later figure out it wasn't any good.
Oh, well, for me, how to say, my approach to electronic music was very ghetto at the beginning. I didn't have my own computer for maybe 6 years into music production. I mean, I was introduced to a program called Rebirth. You know it, of course, from Popperhead. And they gave it to me on a floppy. One of the band members in my metal band, he was like, "Hey guys, I got a computer at home." I was like, "What is a computer?" "Okay, let me show you." So my hometown, Bulgaria, post-communistic country, we just went out of the darkest couple of years of complete misery and poor nothingness, empty stores and all this shit. So having a computer was like, you're fucking rich, you know. So 98 was the first time I saw a computer, and the first time I touched computer mouse was in front of Rebirth.
Wow.
And so that was my first experience with the computer. I never played computer games. I never went to any computer game clubs to play any sort of multiplayer or whatever. But I was using the computer game clubs for making music. So once he got me the demo on a floppy, I was going around my hometown looking for this kind of clubs and going there with headphones and my tape recorder.
No way.
And dropping in the floppy, and it's a demo version, so you can't say shit.
Yeah.
I just pay for 3 hours to use the computer.
Whoa.
And I start from scratch. You know, you remember the default setting of the melody was like, I still remember it like a nightmare, because every day I was starting with this, and I would mess for an hour to make my own patterns, and then I would press record on the tape and start messing around, like jamming with the software, like it's a real synth. Oops, sorry for the mic. And this got me into this kind of a workflow. Okay, you have 1 hour, you have to have something. You can't just lose time messing around for hours. Because also I didn't have money, so that was all my breakfast cash. I was just starving, going to school and then jumping into the computer club and coming back with tapes running.
Wow.
So I could play them on my home stereo. And that was my like maybe 2 years of my life in my hometown. Was just doing this. Then I wanted to go to Sofia, to the capital, and study arts in the National Academy of Arts, like the biggest high school, university, sorry, not high school. And then I met a friend of mine. I mean, I didn't know him back then, but at the art classes, another friend, whatever. So we met with this producer from Sofia, and he was, hey, I make also drum and bass. So we exchanged tapes. He listened to my tapes. I just discovered how to make the Amon breaks.
Right.
And there was also mods in the latest Rebirth version, so I could play with real Amon breaks and chop them up and make some crazy jungle thing. But yeah, so we exchanged tapes, and then he showed me Fruity Loops, and I started learning about it. And a couple of years later, we had few albums released, because I was the same. I would never think this is shit. I would just do it, enjoy it full time, and leave it and jump onto a new song. And if something doesn't work, then File New was my best friend, and still is. I got this approach to music, never being too picky about certain elements, just going with the flow. If there is no flow, give it a day, call it a day, come another time, jump in quick. Also using sometimes drugs help me through the process. Being stuck, back in the days, I used to smoke pot, so I would get high as possible and just make music. Like wouldn't get out of the chair for like a couple of hours each day. And I remember it was a significant boost in my career when I got signed for the biggest drum and bass label in this hard drum and bass kind of thing. I just made the song Super High, showing a friend of mine, Reason, because after Rebirth I moved to Reason, and I made so many records with Reason. And I was just showing him, you can make this this melody. You don't even have to use the keyboard, man. Just click on the mouse, press record, and hit the key, and a melody will be born. And that's how I made a melody in a drum and bass track of mine that later on became so famous. And I would play in Porto for like 2,000 people, and they would sing it like da 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 da. It's one note, but the sequence was important, and it worked really well for the song. So it made me super famous into this gender-specific kind of music. And when the label said, "Okay, you're now signed to Position Chrome, you have to provide us with more material," and I was like, "What? Oh my God, is that for real?" So in one summer, I got signed in April. They told me to do this in May. So from May till September, I made 80 finished drum and bass tracks. 80.
That's crazy.
It was like a folder, and I released it almost 90% of the tracks.
Wow.
So in a couple of months.
And that's still like a few hours each. You just kind of sit down and just go bonk, 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 and
yeah.
Wow, damn.
Wake up in the morning, make a track, make another one in the afternoon.
Wow, that's amazing. So what was your approach like for doing arrangements and stuff? Would you kind of like just mute stuff live, or would you kind of sequence things out?
I would always sequence. I always start with a loop with all the elements possible, like a finished track, but it's just very short. And then I will mute different parts and see if they work together or not, or if there's a part that doesn't work now, I would keep it for the outro, for the intro, for the breakdown. So quickly mapping my arrangement while doing the loop, and then I would usually just duplicate it 100 times and start deleting the main parts and building up some sort of structure. Awesome. So that way I could have the arrangement done in an hour.
Brilliant.
And I'm kind of how to say, if I could also participate in the beat battle, I would be done in 2 hours. That's more than enough for me to have a whole song.